What's good? Welcome back. Glory be to God. It's Raul Lifted Noise. And yeah, just wanted to explore this a little bit because it's been a kind of a common question in the comments, like in my streams when I do the SP stuff. So the question is, can you easily export your stems or tracks? Now, tracks don't really exist in the SP-404. We have what's called pattern sequences, right? We had a pattern sequencer. So in the pattern sequencer, you have 16 different pads here. Well, each pad corresponds to a different sequence, but within each pattern sequence, each pattern, you have all your sounds layered on top of each other, right? So there aren't any tracks. But with the recent update that Roland came out with, 1.14, so if you haven't heard of it, if you don't have your SP, just letting you be aware of, when you do get it, you want to install it because it came with a bunch of different updates and little features. So it's cool. If you do want to know the details on that, you can check out my last stream. So one of the features that it was updated with is individual pad mutes. So you can kind of use pad mutes in sort of like a track mute way. And I demonstrated kind of like, there was a question in that last stream, kind of how to resample like your own arrangement on the fly by using these pad mutes, kind of like you would with an MPC using track mutes, right? So it's similar. So if you're in the pattern sequence, I got this pattern. And just to state it real quick, the button combination is shift, reverse, and then you're going to press a pad that you want to mute out. So in order to access my pads while I'm in the pattern sequencer, I need to press pattern select after the pattern has been initiated, I guess, played back. So I'll press pattern select. Now you see these pads light up. Now if I hold shift reverse, I can start to mute these out. And then I can start bringing them in. Or I could start with this kick. Let's start with this kick, okay? So now I have just the kick playing. And then if I press pattern select again, that's what I want to do in order to stop the pattern. And I want to do that so I can get into resample mode. So resample mode, press it there. Now I can select the pad that I want to record to. I'm going to pick a new pad bank. So I have most of my samples on pad bank A. I will select F just by clicking that same pad bank again. So now I have all these pads to select from to resample to. So I'll just start with one. This is going to be my kick. And now all I got to do is trigger the pattern by pressing pad 1 again. One thing I need to note though is I'm going to need to turn my mic off so that I'm not resampling automatically. So let's do that, and then we'll try again. Okay. So now it takes me back out to my pads automatically. I'm out of the pattern sequencer. And here is, if I turn gate off, is my kick loop. So essentially this is my stem that I'll be exporting. So I've only explored this a couple times. Now what I want to do is, I believe it's helpful if you turn on your metronome. So I'm going to go back into my pattern sequence and I'm going to mute out the kick, bring the snare in. Okay. Now I want to hit resample. Turn the metronome on. Kind of guide me so that I get a nice little loop, right? And pattern select again. I'm going to select my pad. I want to resample to pad 2. And yeah, here we go. See, now this is important because let me start this over. I'm gonna have to. I need to turn my mic off because I don't want to resample my mic. It's plugged into my. It's plugged in my SP, so everything you hear, my voice, everything is gonna record into this. So I gotta mute it. Gotta remember that. So let's try this over again. Just pattern select and resample on a pad 2. And this is essential to use the sequencer for this because for like samples that don't have or for pads that aren't triggered on the one, when you resample, it won't be, well, I guess, see, let me explore for a bit in my head. So yeah, you want to use the pattern sequencer because that's the way to get your tracks individually, to mute them out individually. If you're just using resample without the pattern sequencer, then I really don't even know how that would go about. So anyways, this works to get your pad sounds that aren't hitting on the one to still have that silence at the beginning, of your loop. So here we go. Just press the loop and it'll sample my snare. Turn the mic off real quick. All right, so now I have these, just my kicks and just my snares. Let me turn the gate off. All right, so this is leave the gate on, but okay. So now just my kick, just my snare, and if I hold them down together, so what I want to do is just go back to my pattern select and then give me a sec. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I can do it from here. I don't have to be in the pattern select to unmute things. So pads are muted. I want to mute the snare, and now open up the hi-hats. There we go, pattern select. Okay. So resample, putting it on pad bank F, selecting pad bank 3, my hi-hats, and then turn the mic off and we'll trigger this. Okay. So now I got 3 different stems. Yeah, let me check y'all in the chat real quick. Anthony Alvadaro, what's up? Stubbsy Beats, what's good? Willis McKee. Do I like the SP better than MPC? I do right now. I like the workflow of it. It's just a lot simpler and streamlined, and I'm not looking at a screen. I kind of prefer the just, I mean, there's a little bit of screen watching, but I kind of prefer just using my ears mostly than diving through a bunch of menus. So this is pretty straightforward. Willis, yeah, you can record the external source directly. Well, not exactly directly into the pattern mode. What you can do is hit resample, and then you also have within Resample or your external source, you have the capability of choosing your mix. So it would resample what's going on in the pattern plus the external source, or you can just choose external input. And so you'll be able to play your pattern back and then just play something, and it'll resample that individual thing that you played on the input to a different pad. Now that doesn't it doesn't apply it to the pattern automatically, just to the pad. So then you'd have to go back to the pattern sequencer and just trigger it, and then it'll be on in your pattern. I'm not sure what you're saying. TVK2. What is that? But yeah, so let's see if I have some other things. So I don't need to resample the other parts of my beats. My beat, because I believe, so what I did for the other parts of the beat is I sampled in, from a keyboard. I gotta unmute these. So this is already a loop because I played it in as a loop. And I also got like these are also loops. And I also have the bass line in here. So once you have everything kind of stemmed out, what you can do is export to your SD card. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could name these by connecting the SP to your computer and then running the software. I could look at that with you guys. Let me see if I can set it up. Yeah, I just gotta set up a share screen thing, window, and then I have it right here. Problem with it is going to sound really nasty for some reason with this USB plugged in, so bear with me on that. I don't know why exactly. I think it's because I have like two, because the SP is excuse me, an audio interface, and then I also have another audio interface connected. Okay, so here we got the software. So this is useful if you want to name your samples, because as far as I know, you can't name them with the SP itself. So say I got my kick here, you can see the waveform. Switch over is my snare, and these are my hi-hats. So if I wanted to name these, I'd go up here and select the E for edit, I suppose, and then click here and just name this. If I can keyboard to work, okay. Kick. Then I guess I could see what my tempo is on this. Okay, my tempo is 82 BPM, so I could type that in, be helpful. Okay, and just do that. So this is like, it is real time pretty much. I feel like the screen on this reacts a little bit slowly, but it's not super bad, as you can see. That's actually what I'm seeing. There's a little bit of a lag there, but it's no big deal. But yeah, it's real time. So this is changing the names and the samples that are actually sitting in my SP right now. So let's do snare, stem. That was 82. So, and then I'll do my hi-hats. Name those. Hats. 82 BPM. Okay. Then I did have like this over here. It's my piano chords. Name those. Already named, actually. Did this earlier. Could name my strings. There we go. Okay. And that's pretty much the gist of it. So like, As far as I know, you can't export individual samples from this software. What I try to do is like drag a sample, and then what it said is you're about to delete, and then it just prompts you, see if you want to do that or not. So I was hoping that you could just drag samples out of the software and put them on your desktop. You could do the opposite, which means like you can drag samples from a folder on your desktop in onto a pad, and that should work. Haven't tried it, but I've seen it done on another video somewhere. So you can export. If you click export to PC, you can pick the location and then name it. But what it's exporting is actually like a whole project rather than just the samples, and there's a bunch of subfolders and stuff. So really, I'm just going to use that for naming them and then show you. Let me get this out of there and then show you just how to export them from the physical hardware. Stubbsy Beats, what's good? I'll check you in a second. Just wanted to show this real quick. So to export, all you do is shift, import/export, pad 14, go to export to SD, sample, and then you select all the pads you want to export. So I did all those. They're all selected. You can go from bank to bank and select them. You can see the ones that are selected are lit up, but they aren't blinking. All I do is hit the enter button, this little push enter. Now it will export all those samples to my SD card. So from there, what you would do is just, take out your SD card from the side, and there is no like eject. It doesn't really matter. You just pull it out, no problem. I haven't had any issues with that. I haven't seen anything in like the manual that says you're not supposed to just eject it, just a little push eject, and then get yourself some kind of adapter to go on your computer or wherever it is that you're plugging this into, and just drag them off the export folder. And then from there, you're in your DAW. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a workaround, but still gives you the ability just to resample from the patterns and have individual stems. So it's possible, right? Maybe a little slower than something like an MPC, even if you're just using an MPC standalone, but still very capable. Yeah, Stubbsy, so you're saying you don't know if you should get the SP because I'm not as versed in MPC as I want to be. I'm not sure the correlation there is like you're not. Oh, because you have an MPC now and you don't think that you should probably switch over and like try to learn something else. Yeah, I mean, that's a valid point, you don't want to kind of mess up your flow and your learning ability and like try something else and get kind of fused. I get that. Okay. So does the SP come with a DAW? What's the keyboard connected to? The keyboard that I have right here, this is just what I'm running in front of me is I have a Windows Surface Go 3 that I recently bought so I could do streaming. And then also get the Roland software and maybe do some other things and just some work because I've been running things off of my phone. So it's just a Bluetooth keyboard that's connected to that. And I have a mouse over here just to control things like on the internet and stuff and what's going on there. So yeah, like as you just saw, it's not a DAW that it comes with, but you can download the software and it gives you like easier ability to like edit your samples, name them, like export projects, load samples, move them around and that kind of thing. So it's just a little bit quicker. Like from what I heard is you can do everything you could do in the software you can do on the SP's physical hardware, but you can do it a little bit faster with the software in front of you. So that's all that is, which is pretty cool because it's streamlined. It's not you plug in and then everything you do on the computer reflects it happens on the SP. I think like unlike some older softwares where they were like editors, you would have to like, I don't know, it'd be more of a process rather than being streamlined. Yeah. So it does come with that. Would you suggest having both or just one or the other? Yeah, I mean, I I would suggest one or the other. You don't need both of them. They're both capable. They're both capable of doing pretty much the same thing, and that's basically sampling, sequencing, um, and then you have effects. You know, I think those are the most important things. You get that with either one. So, you know, some people want to get the SP and run their MPC into it for the effects, and I guess there's a place for that. But I mean, it's kind of I don't know. There are effects in the MPC, so it's not like you can't do that. It's not like these things can't be contained within themselves. Like you can make beats with either one by themselves, and you know, maybe it'd be better to just have, you know, if you bought like the SP, just buy yourself like a synth or something rather than two samplers. That's just my thought. As you see, like you haven't seen me if you go through my streams or if you hang out for a while. I don't really have the MPC and the SP hooked up together because SP is just as capable of making beats as the MPC is. So the MPC just happens to be, I guess, a little bit, I don't want to say a little bit, but more powerful. There are more features. There's more you can do with it. You know, you can access a lot more instruments. You have synths built in. I don't know. There's just a lot. It's more extensive. It's deeper than this. So if that's what you're looking for more, then the MPC is probably your choice. If you're looking for something that's just fun, easy, there's not a lot of menu diving, then this is probably it for you. And that's why it's it for me right now. This is what I prefer at the moment. So, but we'll see. So what I've been doing lately is this right here with what I have is, so I made this beat mainly with FL Studio Mobile. Got that running here. And so I have the Oxygen Mini Pro plugged into the tablet, and the tablet's just going into the audio ins. And so that's like my sound module, and I like that. It's got some decent sounds too. This was my bass sound for this beat. And FL Studio Mobile has a bunch of effects. I think these are good sounds. So, yeah, so that's another option. Like if you're going to go with SP, you have a phone, like FL Studio Mobile is like $14, I think at the most, and a MIDI controller, plug that in, and you got like a whole sound module with effects, and it's pretty cool. So I'm going to do a stream on that eventually, just beat making with that and showing you some of the cool features with FL Studio Mobile and how they work well with the SP. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I wanted to show you guys. Unless you got some more questions, I'm gonna jump out. I gotta go handle some business, go get with my family and stuff. So, no, I don't even use a DAW. So I just answering this question for a few people who had it, because I'm not in the habit of transferring stems and putting them in a DAW. And I've considered that now that I have the Surface that runs Windows. I might consider like downloading Pro Tools first. I believe it's called. It's like a slimmed down version of Pro Tools, and maybe I'll try that out. But I have tried using as an audio interface itself with like my phone, and that works fine. I've sampled off of YouTube. I believe I plugged into Surface, and yeah, that works good. And it's just plug and play, really instantaneous. There's nothing you have to do on the SP itself. Just plug it in, and then press your external source, and then you're picking up anything that's coming off of your tablet or your phone. Gardner99, what's up? What's better about the workflow of the SP? I just think it's the fact that there's less menus. Everything is kind of right here. It's buttons. And that's kind of what it was for me with the MPC one, is that there was more buttons. For this, like just one thing, it's like one less step that you have to take. Like when I'm sampling, I just hit record. and I'm ready to record. And I select the pad and I start, and that's it. Rather than, and it may sound silly to some, rather than pressing whatever, a pad, going to menu, selecting the sample window, whatever it was, the sampler in the MPC, hitting record, then selecting a pad, then naming it, and editing it. With this, like, you know, you got a sample, just press one button. Now you have these knobs, and then you can edit the start and end points. And so for me, it's smoother, it's faster. I don't have to look at as much. And I think that's what I appreciate, because for me, music is just, it's more about this than looking at something. I think when I'm forced to use my ears, maybe there's a chance I'm making better music. Just my feeling that I get is that I'm making better music because I'm using my ears rather than focusing in on every little detail of how the music looks, because that's something I might do. Like if I play, and that's one thing I don't do here, is I'm not playing MIDI notes. And that's one thing also that I kind of stepped away from doing, even with the MPC when I bought my MPC Live, is one thing that I bought with it was an external synth. I bought a Yamaha MX49. It's like a little stripped down motif. And I would just sample in what I play. I'd play my performance. So I've been back and forth from doing that kind of thing and then like just using key groups. So like MIDI notes in the MPC. And sometimes, you know, I'd play something and then you'd go in, maybe you experience this, you go into like the grid editor and then you look at it and you're looking at where the notes are and all this stuff, this and that, and kind of obsessing about the notes and looking at them rather than hearing them and feeling them, you know? So for me, that is what you get out of something like this. And like I said, you can probably do that with the MPC, where you just don't use key group tracks. If you have external synths, just play them in. Yeah. So like for me, I'm just that kind of person. I'm not really concerned with swing settings and quantization settings. I honestly don't even know how they work very well, because I never taken the time to care. I would always just try my best to play a part in a performance, whatever it is, into the sequence. And if I mess up, I would just try it again. And for me, I think that's better too, because then you're practicing a little bit more and improving your own skills. So it doesn't necessarily depend on the machine. It's just what you play. So it's like quantize off for everything. You know what I mean? So that's what you get with this. Like how I'm playing this, I'm playing FL Studio sounds from the Oxygen Mini. And like this little thing that I have here, I had a few different variations of how I played it. It didn't come out right when I played it to begin with. And then, I'd maybe like 5-6 times I played something and then I like this one. But this is me playing. There's no MIDI or nothing. And I think sometimes I kind of prefer that too. Like when it comes to like things like with the MPC, like pad perform mode, I would use pad perform to come up with ideas, like song ideas to begin with. And with that, you just have these straight chords that sound like this, rather than playing something like, that sounds, so I could do that rather than pad perform would do this. So this to me sounds better. Now there might be like other, like I guess chord, I don't know. I know a few names, Captain Chords or Scalar, maybe, that will throw those kind of things in there for you. Or people might just play this with the chord, easy chord modes, whatever, from whatever software they have, and then like go in and edit it in the grid edit. But that's just not fun to me, honestly. I've tried to do it, but it's actually more difficult, I think, to do that than it is to just play it out. I've not tried the MV1 Gardner 99. It did spark my interest a little bit when it first came out, but then just kind of flew under the radar for me. Yeah, Brian R. Yeah, that's just exactly what it is. Just simple's just my preference. Jezza, what's good? Get the Core Gadget. Yeah, I believe the Core Gadget, that's for iPad, isn't it? I have a Samsung tablet over here. But I had considered buying the iPad. And I was like going back and forth whether I wanted to get the Windows tablet or the iPad, and I ended up going with the Windows tablet. The new pads on the SP are great. Big difference. Yeah, unmute these. They feel great. Yeah. Solid in a good way. They're responsive. They don't feel hard like, the other ones were. They are velocity sensitive. I wouldn't say they're super sensitive, but you do have some ability to adjust that within the utility menu. And then this is, you can do like fixed velocity. And then turn them off. This is off. You can plug a guitar directly into the SP, but you can't on an MPC, right? Like I can't claim to say, like, I mean, technically you could plug into a guitar, I think, but yeah, I wouldn't answer that question. I just don't have experience with guitars or ever tried. But yeah, there is like a guitar mic switch on the front of the SP, so there's something dedicated for that. So there's no convert to MP3 PM2. I don't think there's any convert to MP3. I believe you can use MP3 files on this, but no. So if you're asking about stems and stuff, I don't know if you just jumped in, but I kind of went through the workaround on how to export your stems. So it's a little bit of thing. You got to like real time record your individual tracks, let's say tracks, but really they're just patterns in your sequence, or pattern sequences. So just by muting them and individually resampling each sound and then exporting. So, and then from there, take the SD, put it in your computer. Release date, well, I have mine. I just think they're kind of having some trouble just fulfilling all the pre-orders. I think that's what it is mainly. So I don't really know. Like I had to wait a little while for mine. I thought I was getting it back like towards the end of October. Then it ended up showing up early December. But yeah, I was like you. I was like, oh, I'm never gonna get this. But I jumped on the pre-order like the first day it was announced, the first day that it was in stores. Real Big Beach, I appreciate it. Sample packs for sale, Stubbsy? No, I don't have any sample packs for sale. I've kind of been off and on like working on that kind of thing. So I've been thinking about it a lot lately. But if you do want to get some samples, I do have the Patreon, and it's like $1 a month that I do. And I put a drum kit in there and some loops and some like, for now I'm just going to be doing one shot, like sounds like bass tones or maybe like instrument tones, that you can throw in a sampler and use autochromatic and play like melodies or chords or whatever. Sell Samsung and get an iPad. This Samsung I have right here is not really worth anything, but I'm getting a lot of value out of being able to use it for FL Studio because I appreciate the sounds of them. They're good sounds. Like they rival the sounds that I have in this. Like I feel like I can get just as good of whatever music out of it. Yeah, the reason I went with the Windows tablet is because it's kind of like a laptop in that it runs Windows, you know what I mean? So for one, I wanted to be able to go on and use this app called StreamYard. It's online, and I was just really unsure if I could do that with an iPad. I didn't want to learn any of the new. I didn't want to really learn a new app, with moving over to iPad as a platform. I didn't want to learn a new app for streaming. So I was really comfortable with what I was using on Android, and then also with StreamYard because I use it a lot. And then I also wanted to be able to put the SP software so I can use this and edit my samples because of the question up there. Do I have any sample packs? I want to be able to easily move samples, name them, and just do that kind of thing. So MPCX has an instrument level input. You could do it on other MPC, but you need to amplify, maybe going into the RCA inputs with a converter, and it would amplify. All right, on Jezza, there's an answer for you. Thank you for that input. What are your plans for your MPC? I basically learned how to use mine watching your videos. I don't know. I'm just not using it for now, and then maybe I'll get bored of this for a while and then want to get on the MPC. So that's pretty much it. I don't know. Maybe I'll sell it. Who knows? Because I know that, you know, Akai always comes out with new stuff, and I'm not like super wealthy, so it's not like I'm gonna hold on. I've sold whenever I want something new. I usually sell, you know, something old and then move on to the new thing. Like when I started the YouTube channel, I started making tutorials with the MPC Live. Then MPC 1 came out eventually. After a few months, I decided to sell the MPC Live, get the 1, just because it looked interesting to me. So I'd probably do the same thing, you know. And Akai, I'm sure I've heard some things about Akai and what they might be coming out with. I think they're coming out with a keyboard. Not sure that's something I'll pick up, but you know, there's always something new. So if there's a new MPC that interests me, I'm probably going to pick it up and then show it on the channel, you know, just because it's what I like doing. I see the Jesus Apparel 100. Pray for your boy. Okay. I need to pray, man. Man, it's just an effort to be better, but accept a message that's, I think, the realest thing to me, you know. So just the grace of God, you know. So I'm not over here like just always devout and stuff, but I, you know, I aim to be, and prayer is one of the things. So, but you know, that's something you can put to practice for yourself. The drum sounds are premium, but to let you know, these drum sounds themselves are from I Am Sight's, what's it called? Standalone Soul, I Am Sight Standalone Soul, volume 2, I think specifically these ones. No, I don't know. But there's 3 volumes at the moment, I believe, and it's like a 6 or 7, maybe 8 part expansion pack, which you can buy. You can buy the full pack, and then he releases them like every so often, few months. And so if you get like a physical hard copy, it's like a golden USB key. And when he first dropped it, you got volume 1. And when you buy it, you have access to all the future ones that are coming out. Or you can buy just digital version for like 30 something, maybe $40. So it's like a loop pack with soul loops, which are really dope. And then the drums are very fire as well. So I've been using those drums a lot lately. So yeah, drum sounds, I agree, they're premium. Check up I Am Sight MPC Gang, IamSight.com, maybe standalonesoul.com. MP, what's up, Carl? Get them MPC 500 videos. No, you likely won't see any from me. I don't own it, haven't owned it for at least a year. So I probably won't be picking that up again. Yeah, I realize that 777 Wisdom iPad has a whole world of apps. Yeah, I was looking at like what was it called? Sample Tank and just a few others, just to use it for sounds. But I didn't want something just for sounds, because if I was going to use that, then it would have to be to the side, like over here. Like I have you know, the Android over here as a sound module. But I wanted to use what I bought as a hub for like my productions for doing content stuff. But I'm curious to see if I can still hook up my Roland to that and still use it as a sound module. See what I can get out of the Microsoft Windows tablet as far as sounds go. Real Big Beats, keep doing what you're doing, brother. Seriously, all your content is informative. You Sight, Caesar, killing it. Total Tribe. That's what's up, man. I appreciate the good words of encouragement. Mr. Cosmic Victory Surface Tablet is dope. I wonder how that works with Machine MK3. That's a dope combo. Yeah, and I've got the Surface Go. It's not the Pro, so you know it's a lot cheaper version. And I've got like the base model. I was kind of unsure that it would even do what I was trying to do. So it's got like 4 gigabytes of RAM and really just 64 gigabytes of like storage, which is expandable. One thing I like over the iPad is that you can actually expand your storage in this thing. So that's cool. But mainly I want to be able to stream, and it's been solid because I've been using this, you know, it's someone else's platform, someone else's server, you know, StreamYard. So it's not necessarily, I guess, the processor or whatever. I don't know the terminology, what it takes out of my computer. It's not using like the processing power of the actual tablet, I believe. So it's okay. But yeah, man, that would be cool to run like Machine with something like this. If you had like the Machine controller, that could be potentially like a really dope setup. I believe I did watch a ton of videos with this thing, and there was someone doing music with it. He was like really testing it. I don't know if he had Machine, but he was making some music and like really pushing it to see how far he could go. Roadrunners, am I doing collabs? Is that what you're saying? Collabs? I don't know. What do you mean? Like on what exactly? I've done some collabs, like videos and stuff, but it's been a while. And then, you know, I do the Dad Beats podcast, or that's kind of on pause right now. But with I Am Side and King O Caesar, so that's a bit of a collab. But as far as like music and stuff, no, I'm trying to figure out a workflow of actually getting some music made on my own, because it's been kind of a lifelong journey of really just starting to make stuff. And I know a lot of people can relate, and just, you know, never like finishing a lot of the music that I start. So I am kind of on a mission. If I can get focused correctly and like actually make some music on my own and express myself as a creative person, like individually, I think that's important that we all do that. Carl, get much appreciation of what you do and how you get down on your channel. Salute. Thank you, brother. Features on beats. So like a beat collaboration, like where 2 producers make a single beat. So real big beats, are you talking about the battery life with what specifically? With the Surface Go or with like the SP-404? But yeah, I'm coming up towards the end. I need to turn my phone back on. I turned it off. It's my overhead camera is my phone, so I turned off the mobile data, so there would be no interruptions. But yeah, I gotta go get with my family here in a moment. The MK2. No, I mean, I've used batteries with it, but I bought some throwaway batteries, right? I got some good batteries though, some Duracells, and I mean, I'm not really timing it, so. And I've never sat down long enough, just like from fresh batteries to say, and just kept it on to say how long it stayed on. It was more like I put the batteries in, took it to work a few days, maybe a week or 2, and had like little 30-minute sessions here and there. And then eventually they died. So I don't know what that adds up to. But yeah, I'm thinking about getting some rechargeable batteries. And then I tried to run it off of this. This is like a power bank, but it doesn't work. I believe what they said is that you have to have a USB-C to USB-C. Well, maybe I just need to try it with this here, because this is a USB output, I believe. So maybe I could power it with this, but I have not tried that. I think I plugged it into the USB, what is this, A, and it didn't power on. So Yeah, that'd be another option. Roadrunner, you're on FL Studio and MP3. What is MP3? You mean like the audio format? Okay. All right. Yeah. Good your family, brother. Much love and respect. Thank you for all you do. Yeah, thank you, and thank everybody for dropping in. Thank y'all for watching. Go ahead and run it back if you didn't get in on the beginning, because there's some good information. Although I stumbled around a little bit, try to figure it out and show you guys. Yeah, so it's a nice little workaround for exporting stems. So if you do decide, if you're like trying to decide whether to buy an MPC or the SP is definitely a lot cheaper, right? Probably about half the price of what the cheapest MPC and the MPC one is. I think the MPC one's like $900 right now. I feel like it was a lot cheaper when it first came out, and I forget whether it was $699 or $799, but it's gone up a little bit. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a capable machine if you're into not using your eyes so much and not diving into menus as much. You don't need all that deep features, and you just want to have fun, make music with your ears. I'd probably go with the SP, but yeah, so there's a way of exporting your stems if you're later gonna put them into a computer. So yeah, Sean Gonyo subbed, I appreciate it. Grateful for content like this. Waiting on my SP, but it's gonna be months. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. The wait does suck. I felt like my wait was forever, and then it finally came, and I was like, it's crazy because I spent weeks and weeks just like clicking on my in my email trying to see if there was an update, clicking on the Zounds link to see if and calling them, and they're like, we don't know, and then just randomly the next morning, what, it's on its way. But yeah, Mr. Cosmic Victor, you're right, man. I've seen a lot of gear rising. So but yeah, that's it. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for jumping in the chat. Thank you for talking with me. Yeah, can you control external equipment from the SP? I think there's a way. I haven't really tried anything other than plugging the USB into my tablet and controlling FL Studio a little bit. So I can go over that in another stream, but as far as that goes, is controlling other stuff, I don't know. I haven't really. It does have MIDI out, so there must be something to it. But yeah, I haven't dived deep into it enough to really know. So, but that's it. I appreciate y'all. Till next time, be bold, lift noise. God bless.